Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you predictions, live stream, a live video. I don't really go live that often, but I've gone 2 times this week. The other one was on, I don't remember what it was on, but it was early on in the week. Today's Saturday morning, June 27th. And I just realized I forgot to drop my NFC title game preview. I gave you my AFC title game preview a couple days ago. Video's doing well, a lot of good comments, a lot of good back and forth in the comments of all my social media platforms. But I forgot to drop the NFC title game prediction and preview. But I will drop the thumbnail. I will drop the slides that I made specifically for those videos in the community section so you can see my full thoughts on how both teams can win and how both teams can lose, and also what games that they should watch to help prepare themselves, or they could have watched to help prepare themselves for this matchup coming on coming on tomorrow. I also decided to go live because sadly I probably can't watch the games. Most likely, I'll be at work. And it's a fun fact too. I've only worked 4 or 5 days since 2024 started. I've been on vacation, chilling, relaxing with the family. But most importantly, I've been watching sports every weekend with no issue. Watching the playoffs, watching basketball, watching um, race car, all that stuff. I've been watching everything, relaxing, chilling with the fam. So, but most likely, I will have to go back to work Sunday, so I can't watch the games. But let's get into my preview and predictions for both NFC and AFC title games. So I dropped my AFC prediction and preview matchup video a couple days ago, but I forgot to give you my prediction. So I'm gonna give it to you now. But before we get started, guys, don't forget, comment in the comment section. Who do you believe is going to the Super Bowl? Or any questions you have for me? Let's get into it, guys. So for the AFC first, since I did that video first but didn't give you a prediction, I'm gonna give you one now. I believe the Chiefs will win this matchup. Now, I do believe that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are a better team, but I cannot bet against Pat Mahomes. You're gonna have to show me that you can beat them. And when the Bengals did it a couple years ago, you had to show me, you had to prove it to me. They did that. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson, even though I believe they're better, the defense is better, offense is clicking more, better chemistry. They still have to show me in the biggest stage. As I said in both video in that video, I dropped both slides for both teams on how they could win and all that good stuff. I did detail Lamar Jackson and his fumbling and turnover issues can be a problem. He hasn't really affected him this much during the boy. He only had one game during the playoffs so far versus the Texans team. But even in the regular season and throughout his playoffs journey, he tends to fumble the ball. Will the cold be a factor? Will the pressure be a factor? He had to and prove to me that you can beat Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs on the biggest stage. But like I said, the whole game plan and what really come down to it for me is, can Lamar avoid turnovers and can that defense play smart? In the thumbnail I did for the Ravens and the keys I showed how to win, the keys to victory section, the main thing that concerns me, but I do have some belief the Ravens won't do this, is excessive blitz. Their team is aggressive. That team is hungry. They're all dogs. Cal Hamilton, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen. The whole front seven is dogs. The DBs the whole team is dogs. I understand that, but the DC Mike McDonald, he has to understand and make sure he get this clear. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but everything I Pat Mahomes excessively. Do not do it. I know the receivers been struggling to catch. I know they haven't had the best year as far as chemistry wise go, but it seems like they figured something out the last 2 games, the Dolphins and versus the Bills. They've been catching. They haven't really dropped that many passes. The throws been on point. They've been getting yards after catch. Do not test this offense, and Pat Mahomes by overly blitzing, by doing too much. Keep it calm, keep it cool, mix up coverages, and just stop the run. That's the main thing they have to do to really shut down Pat Mahomes. Well, not shut down, but to limit them. Stop the run, but don't excessive blitz. Don't blitz excessively. Uh, throughout the whole game. Find the perfect timing, find the no third and longs or second and longs or whatever, but you have to still, even during those times, you have to still give a blitz look, but drop back in coverage, drop back 6, drop back 7, make it difficult, make it rough, and keep an eye on Pat Mahomes because he is sneakily a good runner in certain moments as well. You know, he runs for what, less than 200 yards a season, probably somewhere around there. But in the play, in certain moments, he can definitely kill you with his legs. So just, you gotta play a perfect game, dang near, on defense and on offense to beat this Chiefs team. Key injuries to watch out for. Joe Tooney, he is out, lineman for the Chiefs. That's probably one of the bigger injuries for this matchup. Not too many injuries for this matchup here, but Joe Tooney is out. That is official, been ruled out yesterday. I don't believe uh, the Ravens have any major injuries. Let me see. Have my notes pulled up here. Key injuries. Mark Andrews is healthy. He is active. Um, that's really it. I don't really see too much on the Ravens side as far as injuries goes. No one's really that banged up. Let's see. Mark Andrews is playing. Marlon Humphreys is supposed to play. We're not quite sure. He did practice with limitations Wednesday, so their star corner could be back. Rock Yassin and a couple other special teamer guys doesn't really, not going to say they don't matter, but it's not going to be that crazy of a miss if those guys miss it. Kevin Zeitler, the guard, had a rest day to start the week out, but is expected to actually play. And Tylan Wallace has been a spectator at practice because of a knee injury. We'll see if he is active to play Sunday. But other than that, not really too much on the injuries for the Ravens side. Defensive side for the Chiefs, I'll say, like I said, I already said, Joe Tooney is out for the game. Pro Bowl left the Pro Bowl guard, excuse me. He tried to come back and play, it didn't work out. Defensive tackle Derek Nandi hasn't practiced since suffering his tricep injury in the wild card game versus the Dolphins, so we'll see if he plays. Sky Moore hasn't played since week 15 with a knee injury and missed the practice last two practices prior to this video. So, like I said, we'll see if he plays as well. But I know for sure Joe Tooney is out, missing their Pro Bowl guard. But even still, the Ravens have to show me that they're going to beat the Chiefs. Play a perfect game. Like I said, prove me wrong. But like I said, I don't really have a horse in this race. I don't really care the way. I want to see. Oh, I will hope for a good game. I want to see the game so bad. I might miss work. I'm not gonna lie. I do want to see this game pretty bad. These matchups. I know for sure, for dang sure, I'm off for Super Bowl. That's already set in stone. I'm not worried about that. But I've been seeing the playoffs so far. I do want to finish it and see the title games. So we'll see. But the Chiefs should be a good matchup. Let me pull up my notes one more time on my exact reasoning. If you missed my AFC title game preview video, my keys to victory, let me pull those up real quick and go through each key to victory for both squads. So for the Chiefs, I have get Pacheco going early to open up deep shots. And like I was saying in that video, don't just spam deep shots if you do get Pacheco going early. Play it calm, play it cool, which I'm sure the Chiefs will because they've been there before. They've been there before. They've been in the big games multiple times. Like we all know, this is Pat Mahomes' sixth straight year in the AFC title game. He knows what to do. So and Andy Reid does too. So get Pacheco going early, and then once you do that, pick timely, smart shots to attack this defense deep. Marlon Humphrey, who I just said might be playing, he has been injured. He did miss last game, so attack him. You have speedy guys, Tony, MVS, Watson, guys who can beat you deep, McCole Hartman. So those guys can definitely get open deep and take some shots while Cal Hamilton is most likely, all his attention will be on Travis Kelce. Next key to victory, I have make Lamar throw heavy cover 2 coverage. And if you don't know, cover 2 only has certain real holes to where you can throw in and make real damage on the defense. They're kind of like corner pocket shots. You have to really be accurate, really be a good thrower of the football to make those shots. Lamar has improved. Lamar has shown he's improved. Show me now. If I'm the Chiefs defense, show me now. Forget a lot of man on man. Go heavy cover two and make Lamar throw those corner pocket shots on the sideline in those certain areas to make you beat me. Plus, in cover two, you don't have to spy Lamar. You can just watch him, and if the linebackers drop back, they still have an eye on Lamar Jackson. So the scrambling from Lamar won't be as bad as it normally would if you play man and the linebackers are obviously covering someone else, covering the tight end, or doubling Kelsey, or following the running back. All eyes are off of Lamar Jackson. Then he's going to run free. So that helps with the quarterback spy as well. And then, like I said, the last point for the Chiefs, touchdowns in the red zone. You have to convert in the red zone. No field goals, score touchdowns. And they've had one of their worst years this year. It wasn't bad, but it was bad by their standards as far as converting touchdowns in the red zone. This year was kind of a struggle. If they right their wrongs and meet most of those, it was only three key facts, three keys to the victories. If they can get two of those, it could be a victory for the Chiefs. I said the game film to watch for the Chiefs to help with the Ravens is watch Rams versus Ravens. Um, the Rams, who had a good running attack, who had a good passing attack, and had Matthew Stafford, who's like an older, not as athletic version of Pat Mahomes in a kind of sort of way. Great arm talent, good IQ, good weapons, and Puka and Cup and Higbee, and had Kyron Williams doing that matchup. I believe they pushed the Ravens to the brink. The Ravens, I think, won in overtime during that game there. So follow that matchup, follow that game plan, run good, open up the pass, attack deep when possible, and then I think the Chiefs have a pretty good shot at winning versus the Ravens. Now on to the Ravens side, really quick. Um, Focus on this is keys of victory for the Ravens to beat the Chiefs. Focus on running the ball and no Lamar fumbles. Like I said, Lamar fumbles, Lamar careless turnovers, running the ball, loosey goosey with the handle. That does concern me, especially in the biggest game of his career so far. Show me you can do it. One more game. Get here. Show you can prove. Stay healthy. Take care of the ball and go to the Super Bowl. That's the main thing. And don't try to get into an arms contest with Pat Mahomes. We know you're the MVP. We know you're super talented. We know that you improve throwing the ball, but don't. And this not for Lamar, but it's for the coordinator also, the offensive coordinator. Forgot his name, Todd something from Georgia last couple of years. Stay with the game plan, run the ball. Don't let Lamar get into an arms contest with Pat Mahomes to see who's the better quarterback. Lamar is good where he's at, two-time MVP, most likely. Get to Super Bowl, win it all. The best case scenario in doing that, run the ball. Do what you've been doing, run the ball. Three good running backs, Dalvin Cook, Hill, and Edwards, plus Lamar, that makes four. Make it happen. Do what you've been doing. Do what's best for you. Don't switch up the game plan and act different now. So that's my key one uh, to victory for the Ravens. The second key, limit the Chiefs running game. As I said, the Chiefs should be trying to find a running game. The Ravens should be trying to limit that and making the Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs one dimensional, which is definitely possible. The Ravens defense have been physical and doing very good all year. One of the better teams stopping the run. So the Ravens, I think a crazy stat is, if I remember correctly, the Chiefs are like 13-2 when Isaiah Pacheco rushes over 40 yards, and then they're like 1-3 when he doesn't. So I guess you limit him to under 40 yards, then you have a great chance of winning if you're the Ravens. Then my third and final key, mix up coverages. And like I said earlier, no excessive blitzing. Don't over blitz Pat Mahomes, even on third and long, second and longs. Keep it cool, play mix up coverages, blitz here and there, but try to get home with your four-man rush. Obviously, that's the best case scenario. Plus, with Tooney out, you definitely have a good shot. And the game film to watch if you're the Ravens, watch Chiefs versus Jets. That was like week 4, week 5. I don't think the Chiefs have seen a defense close to the Jets. I mean, close to the Ravens as since that Jets game, which was like early on during the season. Physical defense, mix up coverages very well, and it caused Pat Mahomes some issues. He threw 2 picks during that matchup, and they won 23-20 with the late game field goal in the fourth quarter. So that was a tough matchup. Zach Wilson leading the Jets, and they played the Chiefs very, very well, who were playing well during the time also with a great defense showing. So, they can be beat. The Chiefs can be beat, but I want the Ravens to come out and Lamar Jackson come out and show me that you can beat them. Prove it to me you can beat them. But until then, until I see it, I'm gonna go with Pat Mahomes until that changes. So I have the Chiefs winning in a close matchup. I think they just survived the Baltimore Ravens in a pretty close matchup. Now on to the NFC, which is the video I didn't drop. I'm gonna go through with the keys to victory here. But first and foremost, I'm gonna give you my prediction. So I'm gonna go with both matchups now. Chiefs versus Ravens, Lions versus Niners. I think the better team loses both matchups. I think the Lions get to the Super Bowl. This is a rematch of week 1. I believe the Super Bowl will be a rematch of the first game of the season, Lions versus Chiefs. And we all know, if you don't know, Lions won that matchup. Uh, Chiefs played well without Chris Jones. Travis Kelce had a bad game, a bad showing his first game of the season. I think we see a rematch in the Super Bowl, Lions versus Chiefs. And right now, just thinking about it, the outcome will be the reverse. Kelsey plays well, he plays better. The Chiefs catch the ball, and I think the Chiefs could win or probably will win if this matchup does happen. But we'll see. We'll get into it though if that does happen. But sticking to right now, like I said before, I think the Lions will win. But keys to victory for both matchups. Well, before I get there, let me go to the key injuries. So key injuries. As of right now, I have confirmed that Khalif Raymond and what's the excuse me for the pause. What's his name? Not Frank Ragnow. What's the other lineman's name? Frank Ragnow. Excuse me. Jonah Jackson and Khalif Raymond are confirmed out for the Detroit Lions. So the Lions will be down. Khalif Raymond, who had a good year all year, got banged up towards the end and can't come back healthy for this playoff run. At least not right now. Then Jonah Jackson, who got hurt last game versus the Bucks, he is officially out as well. So they are down. Jonah Jackson, top guard. Excuse me, sorry, Frank Ragnow, top guard for the Lions. He is officially, excuse me, center. Sorry, top center for the Lions. He's officially playing somehow with a sprained ankle and a sprained knee, but he is definitely playing. Confirmed to be playing unless something major happens tomorrow. He's confirmed to be playing for tomorrow. Matchup. Sam Laporta will be playing. The knee injury happened a couple weeks ago. He is going to be playing this matchup. Alex Anzalone, shoulder and rib injuries. He is playing. Josh Reynolds, ribs. He is playing. They were both limited in practice. Deebo Samuel, right shoulder injury is confirmed to be playing. He was actually called out by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, DB for the Lions, and he's officially playing. So there will be a lot of jawing back and forth. Deebo loves to talk and get physical. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson loves to talk and get physical too. So there should be a nice heads up meeting when Deebo does catch the ball, and I'm sure Johnson will find him. So there will be physical, a little pushing, a little roughhousing there, but that should be a fun little jawing back and forth when Deebo does get the ball. But like I said, I have the Lions winning this matchup. I have the Lions versus Chiefs as my Super Bowl prediction right now. But on to my keys of victory. Like I said, I forgot to drop this video. So I will drop the actual thumbnail and I will drop the slides I'm about to talk about now. I'm gonna drop those in my channel's community section so you can see my actual thoughts written out and the graphics as well. I took my time on this. It looked pretty good. So let's talk about it. Keys to victory for the Lions. First thing, control time of possession. Run the ball, play action plays, because the Lions, they don't really take that many deep shots downfield. They throw it probably deep, past 30, 40 yards, probably like twice, but they give you their normal deep shots are more like medium shots. So they'll give you maybe a 20-yard hit here, 25, 15 with some yards after catch. They probably give you about 30, but they don't really take it too deep. They give like 2 shots per game. So control time possession, long drives, 2 good running backs, good tight end, Amon St. Brown as your star receiver. Like I said, they don't go deep. So when they get first downs, time keeps going. Time keeps going. Run the ball, time keeps going. So control time possession, make efficient plays, efficient moves, and they're not scared to go for it on fourth downs either. So extended drives also, if things are definitely close. It seems like sometimes OC Ben Johnson kind of plays for fourth down. Even on third and short, he'll do some that don't get to the first down, and he'll play for fourth and one, fourth and two for some odd reason, which isn't bad, but I would prefer you to go for it on third and five, try to get the first down. Don't just try to get the fourth and one and then you'll do whatever to convert it. Go for the actual first down on third down. But just control the clock, control the time, and they do that very well normally. And I expect even with Jonah Jackson being out and Frank right now banged up, that Niners defense, that front line did get pushed around by the Packers a lot on offense and on defense. Nick Bosa didn't have that much of an impact. Chase Young didn't have much of an impact. Armstead didn't have much of an impact. So I think they definitely can be pushed around a little bit on that line, on that Niners front line. And Frank right now is still, even while injured, he's still a heck of a monster to deal with. Panay Sewell and the rest of those guys are still very good to deal and tough to deal with. They were one of the better O-lines to me throughout the season, so I definitely think that the Lions should be just fine as far as the front five goes, center, guard, and tackles. But I definitely think that Jonah Jackson will hurt. Him being out will hurt. Frank right now being banged up will hurt. But they do have the strength in the O-line to dominate, or at least have a stalemate with the Niners defensive front, because they didn't play that well to me versus the Bucs lower level front. So I have time of possession being very big for the Detroit Lions. My second key to victory, I have send DB blitz to confuse Brock Purdy and put pressure, also slash pressure on Brock Purdy. The Packers game was really the key to how you beat the Niners. Make Brock Purdy feel uncomfortable. Most quarterbacks, as we all know, send pressure right at the middle. But the Packers did it well. They sent pressure via the middle from McNeil, from Hutchinson, but also from their DB blitz. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Sutton. When those boys are blitzing, and they're putting pressure on Baker last week, Baker had a tough game. Now, Baker did perform well with it, but I think Brock Purdy, as we saw with the Packers, he did not perform well with the pressure. A couple of drop picks that could have changed the game. And the real key to the Packers-Niners game, it was all about the picks. Brock Purdy had his picks dropped, and Jordan Love had his picks caught. If the roles were switched, and Brock Purdy's pick, that first pick, was a pick six guaranteed. If he would have, I forgot who it was that dropped it, but if he would have called it, it was a pick six guaranteed, and the guy dropped it. If that was changed over, the game could have been different. If Jordan Love, one of his picks would have been dropped, the game could have been different. So if you put pressure on Brock Purdy, and also they're playing in San Francisco, I think rain is scheduled, if not mistaken. So we could see another repeat of last week. Maybe not much of a downpour, but we've seen the rain affect Brock Purdy. If that's the case, they could be in trouble. They definitely be in trouble. So bring the blitz, bring the pressure to Brock Purdy from different locations. Corner blitz, safety blitz, from side, from the angles. Mix up the blitzes, mix up the coverages, and I think you can definitely make Brock Purdy rattle and make him, because we've seen a good stretch as well. I think 3 or 4 game stretch where Niners were losing, where Brock Purdy played terrible and threw a bunch of picks. So I think one game he threw 3 or 4 versus, was it the Browns or the Vikings? Something like that. But he threw a lot of picks in one of them games, in one of those matchups where they had a little terrible stretch there. So he can be duped into throwing picks. He is vulnerable to pressure like all quarterbacks are, but his pressure seems to be mostly he's more susceptible to the pressure coming off the edge from the DBs more than up front. That's how I see it as of right now. And the third key to victory, OC, like I mentioned earlier, Ben Johnson has to have a master class and take timely deep shots. Like I said earlier, it seems to me Ben Johnson kind of gets in his way sometimes, play a little play a little weird. They'll play for the fourth down instead of trying to get the first on third down. Play it smart. Play like you're supposed to. Don't do what Kyle Shanahan does, which I'm gonna get into later. Play, just take your time. Don't overthink things. You have a good team. You have two good running backs. Make it happen. You have St. Brown, who's a monster, who's a catch machine, who's possession catch machine. You have Sam Laporta. You have a deep ball guy, and Jameson Williams, who's have been showing himself to be more of an underneath receiver lately. And you have Josh Reynolds, who's is pretty good as well, possession receiver that can get a little wiggle room and get a little space and make something happen. So you don't have to play so cautious. Run the ball, timely play actions, and stop forcing fourth downs. If it gets to that point, cool, but don't play for the fourth. Play for the first down, and then if it gets to fourth, then you already know what to do. But it seems like his play calling kind of gets a little shaky on third down and they play for the fourth. Is like, I don't understand that. You're playing with you're gambling with what's going on. So I definitely and he's a hot name for a reason. All coaches and players make mistakes, don't get me wrong, but he's definitely playing kind of coach on the fine line some moments, because if some of those fourth downs the Lions took aren't converted, the Lions could have a tough game. And things could happen. Step on the center can snap the ball and step on the quarterback's foot, mishandle bobbled ball. You never know. So trying to keep playing for fourth downs aren't quite smart to me. I know the analytics show, in certain spots it is the best position to do so. But I'm not a numbers guy. I like to go with what's smart and what's actually right, in my personal opinion. But I could be wrong. Numbers to some people don't lie. But I just say go for the first when you have the opportunity. Don't play for the fourth down. But if he coaches well, regardless of how he does it, play for the fourth or doesn't, as long as he has a good play calling game, because the secondary and the overall defense for the Niners, they're good but not great. You know, what's the D coach's name? The D coordinator's name? Steve Wilks. Since Steve Wilks has took over, the scheme kind of changed a little bit. I don't really love it. They're more DB centric than linebacker front seven centric now. When D'Amico Ryan was there, it was more linebacker front seven centric than it was DB centric. But he has mixed up coverages some, but it just don't seem as good as they usually be with kind of the same guys there. So it's kind of weird. But I think that Niners defense can be had, but you got to have a good game plan, especially with Jonah Jackson now being out, Frank Ragnow banged up, sprained knee and sprained ankle. You got to really, call it to a T and call a dang near perfect game if we're gonna beat the Niners, who I did admit are the better team right now than the Detroit Lions, but the Lions can beat them in my opinion. Now going to the Niners and their keys to victory. Then we're gonna wrap the video up. Same as the Lions. Control time of possession. Christian McCaffrey is the key. He is the key. Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. Play action. Short throw here. Quick pass here. The deep shots to me aren't necessary here. You don't really have a deep ball catcher not a real deep threat. Deep threat. You have Ayuk who can beat you deep. Kittle can get loose a little bit. Debo can as well, but we'll see how healthy he actually is. Jawan Jennings not a deep ball threat. Chris Conley not really either. So don't really push the ball deep. Don't really take a shot, but you definitely can move the ball, quick passes, screens, all that good stuff. Just keep the ball in your hands and keep it out of their hands, and that's the main thing uh, for this Niners team here. Also, Brock Purdy, no turnovers. That's the most of the main thing. Or have people drop turnovers like how they normally do with you, and they should be fine. Uh, Key to victory 2: let receivers dominate, but don't completely go away from the run. Same as I said, the first one. And I'll get into more detail here, more depth here. But the key to victory 2 as well, I didn't put in there. I kind of alluded to there. Let receivers cook. Jawan Jennings, Debo, Brandon Ayuk. These DBs for the Lions in man-on-man coverage, if they play man-on-man, which they normally do, they can be had one-on-one. They have no lockdown guys. Their most lockdown guy, in my opinion, is the rookie from Bama. I keep forgetting his name, but I did a video on him prior to the draft last year, and he was one of my favorite players. Brian Branch, that's his name, Brian Branch. Brian Branch is their best one-on-one. The offender, he's normally always in the slot. So when St. Brown's not in the slot, excuse me, I'm on the other team. When Ayuk is not in the slot, have Debo in the slot or something, bruh, let Ayuk cook. Let Jawan Jennings cook. And I don't think no one on the DB side for the Lions can lock up Ayuk one-on-one. I don't see it happening. So they better play zone. If they don't, and they play man on man, Purdy look the receiver's way. Forget McCaffrey as far as no short passes, dink and dunk, and let McCaffrey run it up and whatever. Throw it to Ayuk. He should have a heck of a game. Throw it to Juwan Jennings. Throw it to Debo if he's healthy. They should work those defenders one-on-one if they are playing man coverage. But also, if that does happen and that is the case, still don't get too pass happy because of one or two mistakes passing the ball could be the game. So don't get too pass happy. But I'm saying forget McCaffrey as far as those dink and dunk throws. Look for your receivers. Take your time because no DB, except for Brian Branch, can stay in front of a wide receiver on this Niner team, in my opinion. Chauncey Gardner Johnson can't. Sutton can't. Forgot the other kid's name. The other man, not kid. The man's name for the Lions, the other corner. He can't either. So they not really good man-to-man stoppers. So Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, and Debo Samuels can't. One of those three, or a bunch of those guys, a couple of those guys can have a day. It just depends on what the game plan for the Niners are. Will they put the ball in Purdy's hand for him to throw the ball, or will it strictly be dink and dunks or run the ball all day with Christian McCaffrey? We'll have to see what they do there with that. But if they do throw the ball, um, and it's man on man, the Lions could be in big trouble. Had to mix up their coverage a little bit. And the last, sorry, I'm gonna go back to. Well, I done said it. Lions film to watch for the Niners was last week's game, Packers versus Packers versus Niners. That's the key film to watch for the Lions to beat the Lions to beat the Niners. Excuse me, was last week's matchup. The Packers played it perfectly. Could have won. Some say should have won, but didn't win. But that one there, last week's matchup was the key to beating the Packers. The DB blitz, time possession, run the ball, all that good stuff. And last key, going back to the Niners now, last key for the Niners, crowd the middle of the field with zone coverage. So, like I was alluding to earlier, with the Lions part of it and their POV and their keys to victory, they don't really take deep shots. Jared Goff loves the middle of the field. Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta, all those, Jameson Williams, when he's not going deep, he loves staying in the middle of the field. Jared Goff's not a good thrower to the sideline. His balls kind of hang a little bit, don't have the velocity or the power to get there. So when he throws to the sideline, they're easy to be picked off or batted down or not really that accurate. So for me, make him throw to the sideline, push all his passes to the sideline, and crowd the middle of the field with a good zone coverage and make it kind of murky, kind of muddy in that and muddled up in that middle of the field area, so he can't or doesn't want to throw there, and then you have him throwing to the sideline and make a tough throw. His arm isn't quite strong enough for in certain throws. So and not really consistently strong either. So I would say that's really the one of the major keys as well to beat the Lions. Muddle up that middle of the field, make the passing lanes tight, and make Ben Johnson and Jared Goff want to throw to the sideline where he's susceptible to picks and bat downs and bad accuracy on some of those throws on the sideline. And to me, final thing before I get off this thing, the key film to watch to beat the Lions is the Niners versus Jaguars. Now let me explain. The Jaguars defense and the Lions defense are very, very similar with very similar weaknesses and very similar coverages. And we see what the Niners did to the Jaguars. They beat the brakes off them. I think the Lions should watch that film as well and see what they did, what the Jags didn't do, and why the Niners dominated. But if the Niners want to repeat, and the Lions give them that same type of defense they normally do, which the Jags defense also dang near similar. If that's the case, then it will be a long day for the Detroit Lions. But I think their offense is better than the Jaguars on a consistent basis, so it is a little different. But as far as defensively goes, if the Lions can't stop the Niners and stop Ayuk and stop, those receivers and Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be a long day. It really will be. So the Lions have to make some stops. They have to slow the Niners down a little bit. If it can't happen, then the Niners will run roughshod over them in the balanced attack. I think that will be coming. Brandon Ayuk versus Lions DB should be an Ayuk victory. So the Lions have to really, mix up coverages, send blitzes on Brock Purdy, and make life difficult for him in that pocket for him to not complete passes, have throws off target, and then rally against Christian McCaffrey doing when he does do those dink and dunk throws to him or those running ball or the running plays. So for me personally, that's all I have for this live stream here. Gave you my prediction. I have Chiefs versus Lions in the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens are better than the Chiefs right now currently. I think the Niners are better than the Lions right now currently. But I think the matchups, the specific matchups, especially for Lions versus Niners, I think is a tough one. For the Niners, the Chiefs, they're a good team. They're not great this season, but they still have Pat Mahomes. Lamar Jackson and his carelessness with the ball sometimes still scare me because he's been good. He's had issues this year as well, like normal, but he's been good for a while. He's kind of due for a bad game or a couple of bad turnovers. He is due, So I think they could be coming this game. I hope not. Like I hope the best. I hope everyone plays their best and the best team wins. But turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, those things do decide games, and they do happen. So you gotta be realistic. And I think Lamar Jackson is kind of due for a bad turnover day, or at least a couple turnovers. Because I see Lamar often, and when he fumbles the ball carelessly and he's just trying to run the ball and drops, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? So it's like it happens sometimes. It's just like, man. So hopefully it doesn't happen, but I am saying he is due for one of those this matchup here versus the Chiefs. And that defense, their front four isn't the greatest for the Chiefs, but Chris Jones is still there. They have a couple of good rotational pass ends, and George Karlaftis. They have what's the other guy's name who's suspended for 6 games this season? Forgot his name, but yeah, they have some good. They have a decent front four, led by Chris Jones, but they're all long, they're strong, and they can create pressure on Lamar also. But when he tucks and run, take care of the ball, Lamar. That's probably one of the that's a major key I had. That's why it's number one. Take care of the ball. No loosey goosey handoffs or handles with the ball when trying to run. Keep the ball tucked tight and run with some purpose. And I think the Chiefs will have a tough day if that defense does play well against the Chiefs offense. But we'll see. We'll see how everything turns out. But that's it for the video, guys. I have Chiefs versus Lions in the Super Bowl, but I could be wrong, could be dead wrong. So we'll see how everything shakes out tomorrow's matchups. I will see you guys next time.